My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series, October 31st to December 19th. Join the action. Brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why? Wake up, Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, Barbados, good morning. Wake up, morning to you.
Hey, it's Monday, November 18th. Wonderful to have you with us for another Morning Barbados presentation. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock, of course, along with the crew, all behind the scenes, making sure everything runs smoothly and we get to you wherever you're joining us across the world or indeed right here in Barbados. It's wonderful to have you in company on this Monday. So it was a busy weekend, wasn't it? Whether you went out to the Spirit of the Nation show on Saturday or Rise Reggae, maybe that was your thing on Saturday as well. Sunday, of course, there was the NIFCA Gala. That was yesterday. So we have to say congratulations to all of the winners of the Spirit of the Nation show, particularly St. Lucie. You know they say Saint, right? St. Lucie, again this time, coming out on top. We're going to share some more details about the overall winners a little bit later in the show. But today we wanted to get things started in a pretty serious way, as we often do on Monday mornings, just to get your morning going the right way. So as we observe World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, it's imperative for us to kind of shine a light on the critical role that antimicrobial stewardship plays in safeguarding public health. And to join us to talk a little bit more about that, and of course what will be happening throughout this week, we have Dr. the Most Honorable Corey Ford, who is Director of Clinical and Diagnostic Services with the QEH. Good morning to you.
It's a pleasure really to be here with you today.
It's always wonderful to have you with us, and it's always interesting how I'm going to tackle the new long title, but I think I got through it just a bit or maybe more. And you've brought along a few wonderful people whom you work with. So we have to say a special good morning to Dion Jacobs, who is a pharmacist.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning,
Nice
welcome. And she's been in the profession for quite some time, a few decades. Am I allowed to say that on TV?
Yes, you can.
And also here is Denisha Bailey, who is a microbiologist. Welcome.
Good morning.
And bringing up the rear is Infection Control Assistant, Rico Webb.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to have you all with us. Let's set the tone with you, Dr. Ford. Talk to us a little bit about the importance of shining that light on this all-important week.
I think that this is a globally celebrated week. And I think first of all, I'd like to start off by thanking, before I go any further, you know me, by thanking the team of persons here, the team at the hospital, including the doctors and the nurses and the pharmacists, and those especially within the laboratory setting who help us to identify these bugs, which allow us to for action. But in terms of what I really want the general public to capture is four particular aspects. One, I want to talk this morning to the pharmacists out there, who in the general pharmacies, I advise people in general, just don't go to your friendly pharmacist. And friendly pharmacists, don't be friendly on this one, and provide people with antibiotics. You know, if they just walk in, they may just have a cold or something, they ask for antibiotics. Don't do that. This is something that is really causing us the challenges in country. And then number two, I want to speak to the physicians as well. Think really carefully about whether that patient really needs antibiotics or not. And three, I want to talk as well to the actual general public and to tell them that every cough and every flu does not require antibiotics, and they need to understand that. And then fourthly, I want to talk to all of the institutions out there outside of the QEH to tell them that what they do in their institutions impact what we see. And I say that from one other context, which I think I really need to bring to the floor today. And only recently in our own institution, we found people coming into the hospital, and they will tell you, I'm sure they will at some point, people coming into the QEH with bugs. I'm going to use the word bugs, but I mean bacteria, right? Which I have nothing in this country to treat them at all. And that is a stark reality of where we are right now. And they're not coming from any hospital, they're coming from the community to the hospital. So we need to roll things back a bit. And that's why I looked at those 4 junctures. We need to roll things back a bit. And that's why every single person who's sitting here at this table today plays a very, very important role in that. But I also want to tell the public that you will have to play a strategic role in this country, and not only this country, globally, in stopping the spread of these organisms. Because truth is, as the data says, is not made up. By 2050, antimicrobial resistance will become the most common cause of death, far beyond the NCDs, far beyond, if we do not keep a check of it. This is what really led, I'll talk about later, hopefully, Barbados, led by our own Prime Minister, at the United Nations back in September, October, we were able to work United Nations to have all the countries in the world declare the seriousness of this issue. And there were some things that were put in place, which I'll talk about later. But I just want the public to know this is not a QEH problem. This is a national problem. This is an international problem. And what worries me most, and I say again, is that we're now seeing a reversal of the trends where before you will see these things in hospital, now they're coming from our community. It is a scary event, it is difficult, and they will tell you the costs that will go along with the healthcare with this is going to be astronomical. If I told you this morning that the cost of some of these antibiotics for one shot can be about 500 Barbados and sometimes $500 for one shot, and you have to treat a patient twice a day for a couple of weeks, sometimes even longer, you understand the cost that it is. So it's inherent, and we will lose families, you'll lose friends because of this in the very near future. We need to get a hold on this. This is not being fearful. I think if we know there's a problem, we need to address it. And I'm happy that at the country level, at the national level, at the leadership level in country, at the leadership level of the Ministry of Health, and at the leadership level at the hospital, that this is being taken on as a serious event because it can really impact our healthcare system with an aging population.
Absolutely. And this, of course, is a worldwide problem to make sure that we get people on board with specifically what's happening. For you, though, Dion, you know, what can pharmacists do to be able to kind of bring people along? Because we know where a lot of people intersect with you is just where what Dr. Ford said. He said people come in and they have such a relationship with their neighborhood pharmacy that they feel like they can say, you know, I'm going to self-diagnose today and, you know, help me out.
Well, what I would say, pharmacists, we are, at the end of the day, the gatekeepers. So our main role is to advise patients to, you know, when you're ill, or if you are on a course of medication treatment, well, specifically for antimicrobials, and you're having issues in terms of side effects or anything that's not going according to plan, you should seek medical attention, speak to your doctor first. We are also responsible for advising patients to take the drugs every day as directed by their physicians, and report any side effects if that occurs, while on the medication, I should say.
All right. There's so many people who I find are far more willing to engage with pharmacists than they want to necessarily go to a doctor, particularly when it comes to something that feels like a cold. But hearing what you said, I suppose there are many things that can present in different ways that you never really know what's happening beneath the surface, and that's why it's important for people like Denisha to kind of come into the fold. So, you know, you play a critical role in kind of understanding the mechanisms behind it all. What are some of these pathogens? I mean, emerging pathogens. I mean, not that we want to scare viewers, but to hear Dr. Ford talk about there being bugs here in Barbados that we can't treat. I mean, it really sheds a light on maybe what's happening under that microscope that the general public really don't get to look at.
So some of the bugs we encounter in the laboratory at this moment are MRSA. I guess that's the most common organism in the community. That is methicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus. There's also a problem with the carbapenem-resistant organisms also. That can be Enterobacteriaceae, that can be Pseudomonas species, that can be Acinetobacter species. We are also seeing a problem with other bugs which were normally hospital-based. So those would be Strengthothomus multifilica. We have a variety of bugs there. We see in our clinical lab.
That sounds like I was talking to Charlie Brown there for a moment. No, I'm honest with the titles and so on. For these things though, how are these being spread? How are they shared around? I think is more important for people to hear about.
Well, most of the time, organisms are spread by bad hygiene. When y'all don't wash your hands, y'all don't clean the environment. Sorry, but people don't wash their hands. They don't clean their environments properly. That allows the spread to go on and on and on. So to curb that, hand hygiene, cleaning your surfaces properly. COVID taught us a lot about cleaning, and to be honest, in the COVID time, we saw a decrease in our organisms coming through our labs. So that shows cleanliness can actually, decrease the spread of organisms.
And I mean, it's like going full circle because we often talk about how important it is to tackle these things in a group setting, but we can see how every area has to kind of work together to be able to make this work. So for you, Rico, as an infection control assistant, what does that role entail?
We work closely with the laboratory. So we do lab surveillance. When they identify the organisms, we then put protocols in place on the wards to put the patient, whether it be contact precautions or isolation. If the patient needs treating, then we will refer them to the doctor for it.
All right, so definitely a team effort to make sure that we're able to kind of stem the spread if there is something happening. What do you want people to know most about? I mean, you talked extensively about, what is there. But what do you want people to know most about how they can themselves kind of try to get away from direct contact with these things? We talked about COVID and there being a decrease then, but even then we heard about some other things that crept in because of how sanitary people were being. So, where's the medium?
Yeah. So the medium is simply this. I think for most Barbadians out there, I think it's something we were taught from school in general, which is, how to wash your hands. Do it properly. Make sure it's done. And there's timing to this stuff as well. And the agents which you use are very important. I think, as said by both Mr. Webb and the micro person, Denisha Bailey, she was very clear in saying that a lot of these things are spread by the hands of individuals. And I think that we need to remember that. That's what's going to make a major pull. And if I look back to really think about this even more, when we speak about antibiotics, and I say antibiotics, I should really say antimicrobials, because antibiotics will take care of bacteria, but then they're antivirals, and then they're antifungals, which we don't talk a lot about. And I think that those things are important. So here today we have a lot of conversation about bacteria, but there are also viruses as well that's resistant. There's one that's in our community that if people don't take the medications, then people don't talk a lot about it, which is HIV. In itself, if you don't take them, you can develop resistance in that realm as well. And there has been a lot of recorded global resistance in that. For Barbados, over the years, we've moved away from things like having massive multi cases of tuberculosis and stuff. We've done well, but globally, that's a challenge with resistance. With travel, people could show up here and end up, developing signs and symptoms of those things, which require us then to have that. I think overall, what the public needs to understand, we need to get a hold of this, because this, I believe, will impact our healthcare system greatly. And I think it's probably going to affect us in Barbados more significantly in terms of impact. Again, I mentioned before, because who are the people it's going to affect? It's going to affect all of, here this how the infectious disease stuff and the non-communicable stuff tied together. It's going to affect those people who are more vulnerable. Who are those people? Those are the people with the diabetes, the hypertension, the complications of that with kidney disease.
Just like we saw with COVID.
Exactly. So, and then the aging population, right? Then we have to deal with that and the impact it has on that. We're going to affect the guys who don't go and get the test done to check, make sure they don't have enlarged prostates and then have bags of urine. They get urinary tract infections, and often it's recurrent. And then what happens to them? They end up on antibiotics courses, multiple antibiotic courses, and what do they develop? These resistant bugs. And I believe a lot of what we're seeing coming from the community is because people are not, and I'll say on this today, it's not only humans, but people actually are using antibiotics on animals. So when they leave back the little piece they didn't take and the dog gets sick, they throw some antibiotics and give it. But then if you look at how this is one big One Health approach, it's not only humans. What we give to animals also affects us, and what we throw out in the environment, don't throw the antibiotics in the environment, it impacts that as well. What we want big chickens to eat, that's probably a bad word to say chickens today, but big chickens, we want lots of pork and lots of ham for Christmas, etc. We want the biggest of the best. And then people use antibiotics and feed as growth promoters to, make the chickens big. Go to the supermarket and buy my chickens. It comes with consequences later. There are cases globally, I'm not going to talk about Barbados today, but there are cases globally, people have even, brought things in and they've had resistance bugs found in those things. So it's not as simple. And we have to be, this is something that I know that the Ministry of Health monitors in terms of food as well. So it's not only us, it's about animals, it's about our environment, how we dispose antibiotics. And it sounds scary, right? But the joke about it sounds scary, but there are things that I've mentioned just now that we can do, sensible things that we can do to impact this. I mean, I have a job if we do it right.
All right, well, if that's the answer, then, we might have to find something else for you to do, which I'm sure we will. All right, so the conversation continues after this. We're going to tell you about what's coming up this week, and we'll be joined by another member of the team. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so welcome back to Morning Barbados. On this Monday, we had some drizzles this morning, lots of rain yesterday, but we love that because it brings the cool as well. So this morning we are looking at a very interesting topic. It is World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. We're now joined on set by Romel Jones, who's also an infection control assistant. So welcome to the discussion.
Hey, thanks.
All right, good to have you with us. And since you just joined us, I'll start with you. You know, what do you want the public to know about the work that you put in and what they can do to make your work easier?
That's a good question, thanks. So I would start with hand hygiene. Hand hygiene is definitely one of the most important rules right now in infection control to help control the spread of AMR. We need to take it serious. I know when we talk about hand hygiene, we think about COVID and that's like a bad memory in the back of our brains. But we really need to enforce it. It's like we get up every day. Imagine getting up every day and not having a bath. It's important like that. We need to wash our hands effectively and correctly.
This is true. I mean, you know, I had a conversation with some people as we got maybe a few weeks into COVID, and I told them that before COVID, I had never heard about the fingers this and fingers that and interlace. And there were some people who said, oh, yes, I knew it. But I certainly had never been into any bathroom and seen anybody doing that before there was COVID. So, you know, there were some colleagues who were trying to make me feel like, you never washed your hands properly. But all of a sudden, we had people on who were saying, oh, you must interlace the fingers and then bring them over and wash your thumbs. Not that I have forgotten that I had thumbs, but it was something I didn't know. So that's why it's important to continue with the education of it, which is where we go for the theme this year, which is educate, advocate and act now. Talk to us a little bit more about that theme.
Yes, so as you said, it is World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. And the theme for the year is Educate, Advocate, Act Now. So this week at the QEH, we have a set of activities to embody the theme that we just mentioned. And from today, one of the activities would be to bring awareness to what the antimicrobial stewardship team does. So along with that, we're also sending out information about AMR and how it affects lives, and also facts about infection prevention and control. Later on in the week, this will be, well, the ending of the work week, I should say, Friday the 22nd. We are asking the public and also the hospital staff to go blue. Blue is the theme, the color theme for World Antimicrobial Awareness Week in support of, you know, the initiative, the AMR threat. Also on that day, we're also asking the public to return any unused or expired antimicrobials for us to safely dispose of. And the details of that is also available on our QEH website and social media pages.
Good stuff. How do you think we can, as we look toward the future, how can we bring people along without scaring them? Because sometimes going the other extreme and giving them information that is a little information heavy, or, you know, as is the case with many professionals, you kind of fall into using terms that the layman, the average person, would not understand. So, you know, from your position as a microbiologist, what are some of the ways that we can continue to educate the public as a theme, suggest, advocate, and act on what you're seeing on a daily basis?
Well, what I can say, we need to educate the public about these bugs. As you said before, a lot of persons don't know that these bugs still exist and exist. These bugs are problematic and they can cause a lot of issues. They can result in death. They can result in morbidity, patients having issues with their quality of life afterwards. We need to focus more on education, allowing the public to know what these bugs do, the effects the bugs might have on the public itself, and also, you know, just a general education basically need to really educate. A lot of persons don't know these superbugs that we are speaking about at this moment, because obviously you have an infection, you go to the doctor, you see the doctor, you have an antibiotic, and it's all over. But there's nothing in between which states, this is caused by this organism, and also ways how to prevent having the getting the organism again, So education is the key.
This is true. Conversations as well. It's changed somewhat in the last few years, but I find particularly older people will go to the doctor and then you say, oh, what was wrong? And they have no clue. It's as if they went in and, they were just given some medication and not necessarily, and I understand how quickly you can go with the appointment system, but then it's not necessarily explained to them, which is where some of these challenges come in.
Which is really fun.
So as we look forward, what do we do, Dr. Ford, to make sure that we make this week matter and we get ahead of this? Because, what you've said is really stark. If by 2050 there is the level of fallout that's expected, then, where does that leave the population of Barbados?
It leaves a challenge if we don't impact. What I would say is that Barbados, I think, is one of the countries that recognize it. The whole global platform, I think it was the 79th UN meeting, United Nations, recognized this as a problem. So all the global leaders have recognized it's a problem. They have signed on to a declaration which says that countries should all have national action plans, and they should be funded national action plans, at least I think 60% of them. They've signed on to something that's saying that the antibiotics that are used, at least 70% of the antibiotics that are used globally should be in this tight group of antibiotics. They've signed on to something that say they're going to do more research in terms of to figure out what's going on in the environment. They've signed on to something that's saying basically that we're going to try to reduce that 5 million plus death, almost 5 million deaths that was expected to occur by 2030 if we are on track to decrease that by at least 10%. So I think the public needs to understand that. So I think when those things are said and done and countries sign on to them, the public needs to understand that this is the target so that they be a part of the platform. I always say with anything that I speak about is that it's not about me as a physician, it's not about the group here, it's not about the team, it's not even about the staff that works at the hospital. It's to understand that every single Barbadian has a role to play in terms of getting this under control, and the things that they do and their actions will impact what happens later.
All right, we definitely need to continue our conversations, maybe in bite-sized portions. The reason why we have the entire team here with us today is because, of course, we are looking forward to this week. We're told that there will be activities such as the disposal bin for unused and expired antimicrobials, and a booth that provides educational material throughout this week. There will be lots happening. You can follow the QEH's social media pages for far more information. And I know that they're always willing to connect.
Yes. Go blue.
Go blue.
Go blue on Friday.
The blue is on Friday.
It's on Friday.
All right. So, I mean, that's not hard to do. We're already repping
It's the independence is going to work.
We're already repping for the blue. So make sure you come out with your blue on Friday. But do a little more research. We all can. No excuses these days. Information is literally at your fingertips. Go to credible sites. Listen into your mainstream media as well. But make sure that you stay on top of knowing how you can protect yourselves, your families, and our communities in general. Thank you all for sharing with us today.
Pleasure being here.
Thank you. I always appreciate it when people wake up early to come see me. Yeah, I love to see you too. All right, so the team from the QH, thanks for all the work you do. Much of it behind the scenes. So, people don't often know the amount of work you put in, the hours, and how dangerous it really can be.
Extremely dangerous.
So thank you so much. All right, time for another break here on Morning Barbados as we head toward the 7 o'clock hour. But stay with us. We have much more coming.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados on this beautiful Monday, 18th of November. I can't figure out how it got to that date already, but I'm sure you're feeling the same way about it as well. So joining me now, we have three people to tell us all about an upcoming Kingdom event. It's called Uncompromising. Reverend David Holder is one of the organizers of this event. Wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you.
Also here is Shernay Aline.
Good morning.
And also joining us is Amos Devonish.
Morning.
Good morning. I'll start with the lady in the middle to kind of set the tone and talk to us about this event and why it's happening at this time.
Okay. Well, people like to talk about relevance, but one of the things too that we've recognized is that there are also timeless teachings. And we have he's a modern author, but he's also, and while he's relevant, a lot of the teaching is very timeless. So we were very inspired by some of his teachings and books as is a Christian author, international bestseller. And it's some very intriguing topics. One of the most interesting ones is called Bait of Satan. So that's obviously something that catches people's attention. But it's also very, very impactful. It sold millions of copies and so on. And we just felt led that, he should be here to share with us in Barbados. People tend to get international exposure, but I'm one of these people that believe that because we're small doesn't mean that we can't have big activities and big impact here.
And now we're talking about, you've called it a non-denominational event. We've been seeing a lot more of events of this type. Why do you think it's necessary to bring different denominations together?
Well, I believe that the change that is coming about in the world demands that we come together as a unique body of believers. And I believe that the inspiration that came as a result of why we have actually hosted this event is to begin that process. And it's also necessary to input here that the faith that is spoken of in the Bible demands that we go beyond ourselves. And although we're small in our group, this event basically is an expression that takes us far beyond our ability to sustain the reality of it. So we have a dependency that comes about where if you say you believe in God, then let God be the author and the finisher of everything that is inspired through us to be able to perform and manifest in the life that we're living presently.
Uncompromising is a serious word.
Yes, it is.
It is as it says. Why that title for this event?
Well, very interesting is that the life of the faith in Jesus Christ do require a steadfastness in our walk. We live in a society where you have a lot of negativity going on. You have spiritual forces at work, and because of that, coming into an awareness and a knowledge of that basically acts as a shield, and while at the same time having the sword, which is the word of God, and the tool that requires you to live above that type of life. To bring a healthy way of living, which it brings to our focus and attention in God as the one who is fighting for us and who is mightily at work in our lives.
So the one at the center of that messaging that we talked about is John Bevere. You mentioned his latest book, The Bait of Satan, and his uncompromising approach to God's word is much of what you talk about with your particular approach to this particular event. Talk to us a little bit more about how he will tie into all that you're attempting to share through this event.
Okay, so we started with the word uncompromising, and he is one of the well-known ministers who's very focused on the uncompromising belief in the Word of God. We do have, as Amos mentioned, there are a lot of attacks on the gospel of Christ. There are a lot of interpretations and people saying it can mean, but we can do this, we can do that. And it's really just looking in this modern time of saying, no, the Word of God is the Word of God, and we either believe it or we don't. And if we believe, we need to be uncompromising about that belief. We need to be able to say, this is what the Word of God says, and if I choose to live by it, then I stick to that. And I seek not what man says, but I seek to understand. The Word of God says, study to show thyself approved, a good workman, rightly dividing the word of truth. And a lot of us have different views, again, because of how we're taught. We talk about the different denominations and so on. But it's about being able to dive into the fundamentals of what is your Christian faith, being able to hold on to that, stand by it, and not to compromise because of societal pressures, not to compromise because of even internal pressures. There are things that you might feel or believe internally that will compromise or be against your Christian faith, but you have to be able to draw on the grace and goodness of God to give you the strength to overcome that and to follow what it is that you've chosen to believe and to walk by. And so a lot of the teaching speaks to that. The Bait of Satan that I mentioned is actually the bestseller book that's been on the market for quite a while. The newer one is called The Awe of God, and that is something that I find that sometimes as believers we forget. We forget who God is. Sometimes we treat him, there's the upsurge in us trying to talk about the love of God and the friendliness of God, that sometimes we treat him too callously. We forget that this is still the great creator of heaven and earth and all that is therein, and that there needs to be a reverence, And so being able to look at those kind of teachings, I like to say that it's very simple, but yet very deep and profound, because it's some of the basics that we've moved away from or that we've not been paying as much attention to. The Bait of Satan deals with offense. We have a lot of that in our lives, Christians and non-Christians, how we deal with what people have done to us or said to us, how do we treat that, and what God would really have us to do. If we are truly supposed to love our neighbors as ourselves and love the Lord our God with all our heart, how do we do that? And he just breaks it down very, very simply, and that's what we love about him. It's about taking these beliefs and these teachings and making them very consumable, very easy to understand and to digest and to study and disciple, because in the church a lot, we will preach. I heard a minister last night mention the fact that there's a lot of preaching but not a lot of teaching, and that's one of the things that's required. We need to also be taught so that we really understand, why do we believe the things that we believe? Where did it come from? What is the real basis of it? What does the Bible really say about these things, and how does it help us to overcome everyday life challenges?
All right, so the event will definitely delve into all of that and more.
Yes.
And I can see that you started to get a little passionate there, which is always great when we're talking about these things. So let's talk about the event itself, when it happens, where it happens, how can people get involved?
The event itself is at Sir Lloyd Austin Stanford Convention Center, and we also, in preparation for that, is actually bringing a level of awareness by being here this morning. However, the way in which we can make that connection is through email and also a telephone number, which one of the other members here could actually give that information.
Right, so persons desirous of registering, they can basically WhatsApp Uncompromising at the contact number 267-4050. I'll repeat that again, 267-4050. As he mentioned, the event is being held at the Lloyd Erskine Stanford Center. That event, first event, that is being held on the 22nd of November 2024. The time for that event will be 6:30. There's also a second event. This event will be for leaders and ministers. This is going to be held on the Logos. This will be at 10 a.m. Right? Yes, yeah. 10 a.m. And that will be on the next day, 23rd of November 2024.
All right, and both events require registration.
That is correct.
But there's no admission.
No. So the events are absolutely free, but we do ask people so that in terms of seating arrangements, etc., that you register.
Is there a deadline for registration?
No, but the sooner the better. We would say Thursday, because the 22nd, sometimes when you say dates, it sounds far away, but it's literally this Friday. So we do ask persons to try to register within the next day or two. And again, as he said, you can reach us by WhatsApp for that registration. Our flyer will also have some additional information in terms of the email address. That's a bit longer to voice. But we can be reached there. And that second event, that's strategically for pastors, leaders, and ministers of the word. And as you mentioned before, one of the focus is breaking down denominational walls, the things that divide us as Christian. Christ has called us to unity and to love, and his word says it's by your love for one another that they will know that you are my disciples.
All right,
and so we're calling together,
pastors
from all denominations.
Good stuff. Thank you all for coming in and sharing with us.
Thank you.
Never enough time.
Yes.
It goes by very, very quickly. But I'm sure if you've not had an opportunity to go on the Logos as yet, this is your chance to see it as well. We went on board last week. We were not disappointed at all. And Morning Barbados will be making that trek once again. So make sure for the elders and leaders, that's on Saturday, for everyone else, Friday. But we're going to share that number with you. And I know you usually email if you have any questions, so you can do that. And we definitely would share as well. Wonderful to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
All right, time for another break, but we'll be back, so just stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics, Guardian General Insurance Limited, and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics, Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Just after 7 o'clock, time now for an update of the news. The National United Society for the Blind celebrated its golden anniversary over the weekend, with its president reminding the audience a loss of sight is not a loss of life or opportunity. The event, held at the Accra Beach Resort, saw members and affiliate members rewarded for their roles.
The National United Society for the Blind marked their golden anniversary, reflecting on the challenges and triumphs over the years. President Granville Carter also spoke about how the organization has helped to empower the blind.
When people are losing their sight, they become very depressed and they don't know where to turn. But my good friend, Roger Vaughan, he has said, there is life after blindness. Do you believe that? Yes, there is life after blindness. So don't feel that because you have lost your sight, that's the end of the world for you. You can continue as long as you want to live on and to achieve, you can do so.
Member Roger Vaughan reflected on the high points over the years, noting assistance to members' development has been a priority.
We were able to assist members in different social welfare needs. And those are the things that we would have been able to do. The assistance of members, the setting up of trying to set up educational funds in terms of a 50% sponsorship if a person needed to study or do a small course. We were able to assist members and even non-members who approach the organizations for assistance.
Several awards were presented at the ceremony. The Roseanne Foster Vaughan Award for Most Dedicated and Greatest Fundraising went to Paul Bain. Volunteer of the Year to Seth Pierce, while Alinda Brathwaite received the Member of the Year award. The Most Honourable Carrie Ann Eiffel was given the Rudyard Welch Legacy Award.
There's concern fear of conducting timely company evaluations is hampering the progress of many organizations in Barbados. That's the view of University of the West Indies Cave Hill Professor of Management and Organizational Behavior, Dwayne Devonish, who notes some entities do not want to confront negative results, so they opt not to have them done entirely. Speaking during a book launch at the UWI Cave Hill campus, Professor Devonish likened this to the Trump effect during COVID-19, where Trump suggested that to stop testing for COVID would help reduce the numbers.
hide away those evaluation results. We don't have to worry about them. We go to the doctor says, measure your blood pressure, measure your blood sugar, and do it on mornings, do it on evenings, and give me a report. But in our minds, I'm not going to check my blood pressure because it's going to be too high. Almost saying that if we don't test it, if we don't check it, if we don't evaluate it, out of sight, out of mind. And I'm happy for this piece of scholarship, Nadini, strengthening evaluation culture, because it really is long overdue, a piece of scholarship like this. Not just for the public sector, I dare say even the private sector, that fears abound when it comes to, I call it evaluation anxiety.
Professor Devonish says this was quite evident during a recent evaluation and accreditation exercise undertaken for the Barbados Police Service.
Part of that evaluation exercise is to find out how the public feels about police servicing and, the level of quality of services that they provide and other key matters. And during the presentation, I commended the police services for having the foresight to commission an evaluation. But even during those results, when the good and the bad were painted, that it was not surprising, but I was still shocked that there was still that high level of apprehension when it comes to evaluation results. When they don't look good for us, the level of defensiveness and reaction that we get.
At the book launch was independent consultant and Secretary General of the International Development Evaluation Association, Dr. Lenice Baptiste. She suggested Barbados and other countries in the region needed to embrace updated mechanisms in evaluating important areas of their cultural development. Dr. Baptiste believes this is needed if there is to be any meaningful transformation for Caribbean development programs.
Old approaches would not help to empower Latin American countries if evaluative thinking was not included. So I will advocate that for truly transformational regional development, a regional evaluation culture must be embraced, and this book has illuminated a path forward for the public, private, and NGO sectors.
While author of the book, Strengthening Evaluation Cultures in the English-Speaking Commonwealth, Caribbean, Dr. Nandini Prasad stressed that it's focused on recultivating a culture of evaluative innovation in a region using a variety of tools.
The book objectives is to strengthen evaluation culture in the region, and our tiny body of members are in dire need of Caribbean scholarship that can help them to function as effective evaluation practitioners and to cope and deal with challenges in the field. Despite diligent planning, projects, regardless to how well you plan them, don't always unfold as envisioned, and this book had many challenges. However, since this is a joyous occasion, I will not discuss those challenges in this forum, but leave that for another forum. The book represents a timely and very important body of work to help program evaluators and program administrators to better and understand program evaluation in general. As Professor Devonish would have said, program evaluation should be of concern in every discipline. However, it is really quite underutilized in the Caribbean region, and we need to develop and cultivate a culture for program evaluation so that we can start to use program evaluation in a meaningful way.
As we take a quick look at sports, Barbados Pride have dropped to 4th place and will now have to play against the top-seeded rivals Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in the semi-finals of the CG United Super 50 Cup. Following yesterday's final round-robin games, the Pride ended 4th on 46 points after the Leeward Hurricanes defeated combined campuses and colleges by 4 wickets. That result put the Hurricanes on 51 points. The other game between the West Indies Academy and Windward Islands Volcanoes ended in a no result due to rain. Red Force ended the prelims first on 63, while in second are Jamaica Scorpions on 53. Pride will play Red Force in the first semifinal that's coming up on Wednesday, while the Scorpions take on the Hurricanes in the second semi on Thursday. Both games are set for a 1 p.m. at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy ground, and they will be live on MCTV's ESPN channels. And that's our update of news. We have a full package coming your way at 12 noon here on TV8, or if you're on the move, tune into our radio stations, 98.1 The One, 94.7 FM, and 100.7 QFM for the CBC News World at 1. It's time now for another break on Morning Barbados, but there's more coming up, so stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, it's heading up to 7:15 on this Monday morning. Good to have you in company. Certainly hope that you're getting out and remembering to celebrate our independence as you get out. We're really pleased to have a very special gentleman joining us this morning for us to get to know a little bit more about him and his organization as well. Lieutenant Governor Adrian Boyce, Kiwanis, Eastern Canada and the Caribbean's District Division 27 Lieutenant Governor for 2024 to 2025. So first of all, congratulations.
Thanks very much.
On this title. Let's rewind a few years. At the turn of the century, sounding all dramatic, right? At the turn of the century, you made a decision after spending your entire life as a teacher to join the Kiwanis. What was the driving force behind that?
Well, as a teacher, it was involved. I had very much like to be around children and mentoring them and working with them. So after retirement, just before retirement actually, I joined the Kiwanis Club. So it's to give back and to help mold and support children.
Why do you select the Kiwanis? What was it about the club that piqued your interest?
Actually, I was recommended by Keith Neblett. He asked me, we were friends, and he asked me if I would mind coming and join the club. So I said yes, and I went along to see what was going on. I liked what I saw, and the rest is history, as it were.
Now, you jumped right in. because you managed to hold a number of positions in the club throughout the years. And in a short time, you were distinguished president. So let's talk a little bit about the roles that you've played throughout the years.
Well, yes, I was president from 2012 to 2013. And then just before that, I was also the chair of the fundraising committee as soon as I came in 2000. And then I went to the Youth Services Committee, where I chaired that for a number of years. And that involves children also, and the Comprehensive Support Program, which we ran from 2000.
How did your life as a teacher kind of influence the areas that you wanted to maybe pay a little more attention to? Because I don't think it was lost on you, or it's not lost on me, that you moved to heading up the program that was dedicated to helping children with the common entrance exam.
Well, actually, the president at the time, she recommended that I should go to the youth services, since that I was teaching and had that experience.
Yeah, and what are some of the most exciting projects that you've been able to work on through the club throughout the years, but the ones that have been most gratifying for you?
Well, I'll say the most gratifying is the Comprehensive Support Program, of course, where you see children who came to us at a very low level, and the progress that they have made. And in fact, not only academically, but also in life. And there's some children who we know are outstanding persons in the society.
Now, you mentioned that you were first appointed to chair of the fundraising committee in the early 2000s. Talk to us about the importance of raising funds for a group like the Kiwanis.
Raising funds is very, very important, because that is where we support and help to fund our projects. And without money, we can do very little.
Yeah, so delve into some of those the other projects that you've been able to work on throughout the years. I know for me, very early on, I recognized the work and reach of the Kiwanis, if only because most events you'd go to and you guys would be kind of working at the door, and then of course we saw your name in places like the hospital and in different spaces, which was a little different from what we'd seen of other service organizations.
Well, projects like giving books to schools, that is one of the projects that we were involved in. Painting houses, cleaning up the environment, and those are the sort of projects that Kiwanis Club engages in.
And then for your move through the organization, I mean, you're now Lieutenant Governor, so, what's the path to this place?
Well, this was very surprising for me. I never thought about being a Lieutenant Governor, but I got a call asking me that they want to consider my name, and I was told, do not say no.
Yeah, so you've had quite a bit of experience, having served as President's advisor for 5 presidents.
That's correct.
That means must have meant quite a big deal to you.
Yes, it was, and I was happy to mentor the presidents, and because of my experience, they saw that I had something in me that could assist them in their efforts during the year.
And I'm told there's another project that you have been awarded for. You were given the Walter Zeller Fellowship Award for your contribution to the Eliminate project. Tell us more about that.
Yes, this Eliminate project, where it dealt with eliminating tetanus in neonatal tetanus, that is, for pregnant ladies.
Yeah. All right, so, you started this tenure on the 1st of October.
1st of October.
And it goes through to 2025, September 2025. what are your hopes? Usually when you come into a position like this, there are a number of things you would hope to accomplish under your tenure. So what are those things?
Well, one of those things is that we are hoping to have what we call a literacy program. And this literacy program, we are slating it as money smart. And we hope to go deal with the children of our younger or our younger group. That is the key clubs and the K kids. That is our junior clubs. And I hope to bring this program to all the islands in which I represent, which would be Antigua, Grenada, St. Vincent, and of course Barbados.
What are some of the immediate changes you'd like to see maybe with Kiwanis? I know that you have the feed-in program where you have the Key Club. So younger people most certainly being able to find out more about service organizations and talking about the importance of offering your service in the community. But what are your immediate hopes for the organization, if only in looking at continuing on the trajectory it's been on for the last 2 years?
Well, one of the immediate hopes is that we increase our membership, because we find it very difficult to get persons to volunteer their services. And we believe that with new membership, we can increase our focus and give a lot more service to the community.
So talk to me about this title, because it seems like you're over quite a big district, Eastern Canada and the Caribbean District 7. What does this role entail? And where are some of the areas that you cover under this title?
Well, we are part of ECNC, which is the Eastern Canada and Caribbean District. Our clubs are about 284 clubs in the region, and it spans up to, as it says, Eastern Canada. And within those 284 clubs, we have about 26 divisions, and each division then is led by a lieutenant governor. And we all report to our governor, who is Pam Rodney White, and she's from Jamaica.
So tell me what this role entails from the perspective of the organization. What are you expected to do in this role?
Well, one, I am expected to report to our governor, support our presidents or the presidents in my area with their programs and projects, ensure that there is communication between presidents and the governor, and also ensure that they have the sort of education that they need for going forward. Also to recognize that presidents who are doing wonderful job, and also the individuals, club members who are doing good jobs in their clubs.
This is your 24th year in being a part of the club. If you had an opportunity to share with us what you didn't know when you started as compared to what you know now about what the club has been able to do, not necessarily by division, but collectively, what would that be in terms of sharing with someone who might not know of the reach of the club and how much work and effort you put in?
Well, being a Kiwanian has helped me in my leadership skills, of course. I've fostered a lot of friendships overseas, and it gives me an opportunity also to travel to our conventions, either international conventions or district conventions.
And these badges, I always look at them. I'm here. There's so many badges on your coat. Tell me a little bit about these. Are these badges that you collect pretty much like you do in some of the other service organizations? How do you collect them?
That is correct. We just collect them as we attend conventions. And of course, some of them are badges that would reflect my office. President or vice president, chair, director, and this one is my recent badge for lieutenant governor.
Are there any that mean more to you than others or have stories you would love to share with us?
Well, they all mean a lot to me. Let me put it that way. Nothing special about anyone in particular.
All right, you said that you really would love to see the membership grow. So what would be your overall message to young people and older people alike? And I say that because you joined a few years before your retirement, and here you are all these years later, still giving of your work and ethic through this organization. So what would you say to people generally about Kiwanis and maybe getting out and volunteering?
Well, I would say, one, it's important that we all give back. We have been blessed, and then we should also give back to our society. The society which has given us so much. And by joining Kiwanis, I'm sure it will educate you, you will be a better person, you'll be more empowered to go there and do things. And of course, you see the benefits of being a giving service. It's not only something that you can touch, but it's the intangible efforts or the intangible things that you get from being a service-oriented person.
Talk to me about those intangible things that you've been able to get out of this life of service for the last few years with the Kiwanis.
But you feel so good when you can help someone. It blows your mind. It really, you think being able to help someone, and especially if you have the skills to do it, it gives, in fact, you only look to God for the glory and the praise.
All right, I want to thank you so much for sharing with us this morning, making some time to come in at the start of your tenure. Maybe we can have a check-in somewhere in the middle, and then of course at the end as well. We love to hear all the work that you're doing behind the scenes. It's wonderful that you joined the club. As a gentleman who was close to retirement, and you've still been able to contribute in this way for such a long time, I think that says a lot about volunteering and volunteerism generally.
Yes.
We all have something. We all have something to offer.
Thank you very much, Tisha.
So, Lieutenant Governor Adrian Boyce, here in this party where we say Lieutenant. Adrian Boyce, Kiwanis, Eastern Canada and the Caribbean District Division 27, sharing with us about his new position with the organization this morning. So maybe that's a call to action for you to get out and volunteer. And I'm sure they're open to you asking questions. So check them out online. Time for another break on Morning Barbados. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cb.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
24 minutes now before 8 o'clock. Time goes by so quickly. I'm really pleased to have some young people with us this morning. You know, we love to highlight the work of the younger people. So we'll start with you. Immediately to my right, I have Annika Small, who is with the Flight Training Institute of Barbados. Good morning to you, Annika.
Good morning.
And welcome. And we're going to skip over to young Mackay Arthur, who is a member of the Young Eagles Flight Club. So good morning to you, Mackay. Good to have you with us. Or just the Young Eagles, not necessarily Flight Club, but I want to kind of qualify for everybody. And joining them is Corrine Small, who is really tour facilitator with the Young Eagles, with the Barbados Light Airplane Club. So welcome as well.
Thank you.
And Stefan Brooks is chairman of activities for the Barbados Light Airplane Club as well. So welcome. Good to have you with us. Tell us a little bit about the Young Eagles. It's my understanding that you just got started again. Post-COVID, I guess I'm going to start saying just PC.
Yes, yes.
And I expect people to know what I'm talking about. Right. So the club started way back, years ago, the Light Airplane Club.
1951.
In 1951, started by Right Excellent, late Aaron Walton Barrow.
That's right.
We know of his background there, and it's as good a time as any to talk about the work that you've done and all that happens with the club. So talk to us a little bit about the club itself.
Well, first of all, good morning, and good morning to Barbados. So the Barbados Light Airplane Club was, as you said, founded in 1951 by the late Earl Walton Barrow, and his dream was to sensitize the public of Barbados about aviation, basically. He created what we now know as the Barbados Light Airplane Club, as an area where persons can come, sit down. It's a family-oriented venue. You can actually watch the planes take off, land, and then later on in life, we actually incorporated what we call the Flight Training Institute, which we basically teach people how to fly, but on a smaller scale. When they're finished the course, they then get something called a private pilot's license. And then if they want to, they can actually carry on and become commercially rated.
All right, now talk to me about the Young Eagles now, which is the youth arm.
Yes.
That you formed.
Yes, the Young Eagles is there to motivate the youth of Barbados into any aspect of aviation. So we don't just focus on the pilots. We're currently focusing on any of the 20-something jobs of aviation that there are out there. And we have about 20 young persons right now that just did a Telecommunications 1 course with us for the last 6 months. Mackay is one of them, one of our more successful ones and stuff. They're all really lovely young people. It was a joy working with them for the last 6 months. For Telecommunications 1, we had Air Traffic Controller Christopher Mears come in and work with us. Taught the children about the 4 W's of aviation. And then they had a little mini test. This wasn't really anything too stressful. Right, Mackay?
I could say it was stressful. Mackay is like, really?
And once we're going to be having our open day coming up soon to raise some funds so that in December we can have an official award ceremony for our 20 Young Eagles.
All right, that's excellent. Yeah. 6 months ago, you decided to enter the realm of Young Eagles. Tell me what first piqued your interest or how you heard about it.
My mother pointed me out, so I was just driving home one day, and then my mother said that, "Would you like to join a club?" I was like, "Which club?" A club. And I figured out, when I got there, it was a light airplane club. So I was like all excited, but I didn't want no test.
So You know, so it's a little different than you thought. How come mommy kind of nudged you in this area to join this particular club? Have you always exhibited an interest in airplanes or flying, or is this the first time you've gotten so close?
I feel like I'm very interested in flying, but flying.
All right, is this a career path of yours?
Yes, please.
All right, that's good stuff. So you have some great motivation. I saw First Captain Dylan just a few days ago showing off on the front pages, one of the youngest captains flying into Barbados, and his first mate was also a young Barbadian, so that must have been some good motivation, yes?
Yes, please.
All right, good stuff. And he's only 27 years old, so definitely had to put in some work here in Barbados to be able to make that next step. And speaking of the next step for you, Annika, you're with the Flight Training Institute of Barbados. Talk to me a little bit about that institute.
Well, the Flight Training Institute has two parts. So you have a ground school component, and then you have the flying component. So the ground school is for 3 months, and they basically teach you everything you know about the basics of flying. So you have like meteorology, air law, navigation, etc. And it's kind of into two parts. One part is for the student pilot exam, the SPL, and the next part is for the PPL, which is the private pilot license.
Okay, so do you have, ambitions of working in aviation as well?
Yes, I do. The major goal is to one day own an airline. So I thought that learning to fly would be like a good stepping stone to get my foot into the aviation industry.
That's beautiful, and I know, Stefan, there's so much happening behind the scenes that we really don't know about. You mentioned there are 20-something professions. I think by now there are probably more. I've had maybe an insight of you having the honor of being able to speak with people like Mr. Clyde Outram throughout the years, who served, I think he was like the longest serving chief aviation officer. Celebrated a birthday last week. So very interesting to be able to speak with him. I also had an opportunity many years ago to interview a gentleman who was best friends with Arrow Barrow. So he talked about how they would fly out to go to other Caribbean countries for lunch and come back, and so it sounds like it can be quite an interesting and very exciting club to be a part of.
Yes, in a nutshell. In my position, as Kareem would have said, COVID really put a damper on things. But it also showed our vulnerabilities. So what we are trying to do now, we are trying to come better. One of the things we actually try to do is to start the Young Eagles program or relaunch it. The important thing is to generate interest and to sensitize Bajans. I don't know if you are aware or you had seen, but there are a lot of persons who stay at the edges of the runway and they watch the planes, and that is something that is growing amongst Bajans.
I have some little people who make me do that.
Yeah. And they'll actually invite you to come under my courtesy. We actually offer the facility where you can come sit down, bring your family, and I think that we are trying to carry on that legacy where persons, and a lot of persons might not be able to afford to be a pilot, but they can actually afford to come and see, and it is actually a very surreal thing to just watch a plane come and just be right there. And I think that is something that stays in more so the children's mind, that they can come and they can go home and they say, well, Daddy, I see this plane, or Mommy, I see this plane, So that is what we try to offer. Behind the scenes, there are a lot of things that we are trying to do to make it as a very good club to be a part of, and that is what my responsibility is.
All right, that's beautiful stuff. So talk to us about being able to join the club now that it's up and running again, and you're kind of 6 months in. What does it take to be a part of the Young Eagles?
Okay, so you can contact us. There's a lot of different contact information. 420 iFly is the main number where you will call Ms. Wickham or Operations Manager to get any more information, or you can email her at ifly.barbados at gmail.com. Right. Or, of course, our social media, Fly in Barbados. If you're interested in the Young Eagles, you can go through those routes, but you also additionally have the Young Eagles BB. We just launched our Instagram page, and we have a massive following already. It's growing by leaps and bounds. Thanks, Kimberly. And you can also email us at youngeaglesbb@gmail.com.
What types of ages are we talking about for the little ones?
So the Young Eagles are between the ages of 7 and 17. And that's interesting. We actually have one that is 16 currently, and he's been doing really well, Matthew, and we've recommended that he actually transfer over in January to the Flight Training Institute to start on his private pilot license journey.
All right, is this the path that you took as well? Maybe not with the Young Eagles.
No.
They've been maybe, off the grid for a minute. But what about your path? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, obviously going behind the airport and watching planes fly.
At what age did you recognize, hey, I am so intrigued by this?
Probably 16.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a new...
So that was like yesterday?
Yeah, kind of during COVID time, really.
Yeah.
We started going behind the airport a lot more, and my love for planes kind of grew then, right? And then I just came to my mother one day and I was like, I want to learn how to fly. And she said, okay. She searched online and tried to figure out anything possible to help me go along this path. And that's how she learned about the Barbados Light Airplane Club. And she contacted them, and then I joined the year after, the January after.
That's beautiful stuff. What's the program like? Is it difficult? Because I know Makai is over there like, I just didn't want to take tests. Is it difficult?
The exam aspect is kind of like taking a driver's license test. So it's basically multiple choice, short answers. But it's pretty...
straightforward.
Yeah.
And for you, Makai, are you hoping that one day you're able to transfer over to the Flight Training Institute as well?
Yes, please.
I look forward to you in that outfit, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to catch that first flight, right? When you're a first officer. Yeah? I'm moving too fast?
2 years.
In 2 years?
Few.
Okay, I'm not sure if I would get on the plane in 2 years. How old are you, Makai?
11.
11? When you're 13? I don't know about that. I'm not getting on that flight. I'm kidding, but it's wonderful that we're able to kind of foster this kind of interest in the children from a very early age. And as you mentioned, there's so many professions that they really can branch off into behind the scenes. You talked about a fundraiser coming up. Remind us about that quickly. It's coming up at the end of the month.
Yeah, November the 30th. That is primarily for the Young Eagles, just to wet their feet a little bit in the social aspect of the Barbados Light Airplane Club. But then we have our major event that is actually on the 21st of January, Aero Day, where we have lots of other attractions. You'll be able to actually go in the sky for a couple of minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, see Barbados, well, a part of Barbados, and then you come in. That has been very successful, I would say, in the last 2 to 3 years. There's an opportunity for persons to actually come and see planes. We have planes on display. Other little things that I'm not at liberty to speak about right now.
All right, but we'll share. We'll share.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for coming in and sharing, because I know there are a lot of parents who might have little ones who might be interested. And after this, I don't know if you're going to be able to handle how many young eagles you might have wanting to,
I'll volunteer.
take flight. Pardon?
I'll volunteer.
You volunteer?
Yes.
All right, good stuff. So again, they're delighted to see the return of pilots Dylan and Akil, 2 former members. The Eagles got the opportunity to interact with them as well and take pictures, and I'm sure it was truly a proud moment. So both Dylan and Akil expressed interest in maintaining a relationship with the Barbados Light Airplane Club as well as the Young Eagles as well. And you can look out for more coming up in 2025 as we welcome regathering again under the theme Come Long Home. Yes. So interesting stuff. Come long home on the plane. Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, so thank you all for sharing with us.
Thanks for having us here.
Absolutely. Okay, time for another break. We're heading quickly to 8 o'clock. My goodness, it's just about 8 minutes to go before we close up for today.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
94.7 FM with the kind compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited and the Cut and Drive Network brings live coverage of Cricket West Indies Home Series October 31st to December 19th. Join the action, brought to you by Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL and Probiotics. Guardian General Insurance Limited. Live safe, live easy, and the Cut and Drive Network.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
So the UK, in partnership with Invest Barbados, will be hosting a trade mission in Barbados from the 18th. Today's the 18th to the 22nd. So we're pleased to have with us Shane Nichols, who is Country Director, Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean for UK Department for Business and Trade. Good to have you with us.
Thank you.
And also here is Shane Thomas, who's a rep with Invest Barbados, and he really is sharing about trade and development and investment all across Scotland. And he's here as well for this. So let me start a little bit with you, Shane Thomas. Because we're overtaken by the Shanes today.
Yes, we are.
To talk a little bit about the work that is done by Invest Barbados and certainly the satellite offices outside of the country.
Yes, so it's a vital role that we play because obviously we outreach to the world to say Barbados is open for business. And anybody in the United Kingdom looking at Barbados as an opportunity, they refer them to me. And then I follow up with them to see what is it they're exactly looking to do and achieve in the region. Because it's not just Barbados, but it's using Barbados as a base to go into the Caribbean region and to a bigger extent Latin America. So it's a lot of, as I say, information, because it's a decision that you have to make with the right information. So Invest Barbados facilitates all these meetings. We start virtually, of course, so using Teams and Zooms. And we collaborate very closely with the DBT, because DBT is Department of Business and Trade. I'll let Shane talk about DBT.
Absolutely. This is the 5th year that you're hosting this UK-Scottish trade mission to Barbados. What are your hopes when you move into doing a mission like this?
Okay, so a bit of background on us. So we are DBT, as Shane said, UK Department for Business and Trade. So our role primarily is supporting UK businesses that are looking to trade and invest in the Caribbean region. So, I mean, the genesis of this trade mission was really to support those territories outside of London, outside of Manchester, those traditional sectors. So we moved to so we engaged Scotland because we have this historical linkage with Scotland. I mean, Barbados and Scotland, we share patron saints in St. Andrew.
Correct.
We have the Scotland district in the countryside here as well. But Scotland also has these sectors in which are very innovative. For example, renewable energy, which is a sector that Barbados is very heavily focused on right now. They have digitization as well. So it was, how can we bring some UK expertise to assist Barbados in their development objectives? Like, how can we match that ambition Barbados has with UK expertise?
That's very interesting, because usually we don't think about development objectives when we think directly about trade and how we can kind of use best practice to be able to make these things happen.
Exactly.
So what are some of the expectations for this particular mission?
Yeah, so for example, we have a gentleman right now who's looking at hydrogen. And again, not just in Barbados, but for the region. And we also collaborate very closely with Export Barbados, who has an ambition to let Barbados become the bio island. There's a lot of interest in bioscience. When we reach out to various organizations in UK, particularly Scotland, on my side, they've been reading up about the ambition of Barbados becoming the bio island, and they're very interested. So the world is changing, as I say, and it's becoming smaller. And definitely because of you would know Britain recently left the European Union, so there are businesses looking for other opportunities, and this is a prime opportunity for Barbados to pitch itself as the center of not just the Caribbean region, but Latin America, because we have easy access to Latin America as well.
All right, let's talk about involvement. I guess you would have picked particular sectors. We talked about digitization, alternative energy in some respects as well. So is it a situation where people are selected before and now they're part of this, or are there business people who might be looking on who can still maybe say, can I throw my hat in the ring?
Well, it's a bit too late now, unfortunately, for that. But I think we try to match what are the opportunities that are available in Barbados, and how can we select those firms that are fit for purpose in Scotland and the wider UK to match the capability of the opportunities down here as well. I can give an example of Rosetta Stone. They're joining us this year on our trade mission, and what we're going to do on Wednesday, they're partnering with the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association to give a lunch and learn seminar in terms of how they offer, in terms of language learning, can help to bridge skill gaps that may need to be bridged in the hospitality sector. I know Barbados is very enthusiastic and keen about getting into other markets, for example, Latin America. So how can we build the capacity and languages for those employees in the hospitality sector to have Spanish, for example, as a foreign language, so they can better engage with guests when they come from those territories.
All right, we definitely have to have you back to be able to talk a little bit more about what you hope to accomplish and the work that is done to be able to make this even a possibility. On a 5th mission. Particularly with everything that's going on, as you mentioned, in the UK and here in the Caribbean, and generally around the world.
Exactly.
So thank you both Shanes for coming in today. Shane Nichols, Country Director, Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean for the UK Department for Business and Trade. And of course, Shane Thomas, who is UK Investment Executive with Invest Barbados, representing that area this morning. I wish you the best on it. We certainly will be there in the news covering capacity, but to be able to hear a lot more about the work that you're doing for us, Barbados.
And thank you for having us. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and that's the end of today's show. It's gone by so quickly, as you can imagine. We look forward to having you with us tomorrow. Of course, tomorrow is conversations on CARICOM and a whole lot more. So have a great day today, and God willing, we'll be back bright and early tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up.